Hi guys, and welcome to another video of Vibing with Via. Well, guess what? Road at a pre today, but I want to take the time out to talk about this little thingamajiggy for a second. Read what this says. It says faith, and if you look down the bottom right here, you realize that this is just a mustard seed, right? So the Bible tells you about faith as small as a mustard seed and what it can do. Pick up my sister Rissa for this. Always a good reminder. And watch you now. Flip it. Boom! What's on the back? See that? I'm out. Take on the road. In a faith. Hello, welcome to another video of Vibing with Via. Look what's going on, guys. Lots of things happening. So I'm preparing for Sunday dinner. Quick glance. Boom, got some pork chop seasoned, but that's not the focus for today. Today we have a whole bird. It's not a roaster, just regular chicken, because these days chicken is very expensive. But over here at Vibing with Via, we'll have to show you how to be versatile. We'll have to show you how to go around the thing, right? You want to get nice, wholesome, juicy, scrumptious meals, but you also want to get it at a cost that is very affordable. So we're not using a roaster per se. We're just going to use a whole bird, and we're going to be making roast chicken. Now today's roast chicken will feature the stove top stuffing mix for chicken. You don't have to do this. I think in another video I will show you how you can use alternative methods of roasting your chicken with just things like carrots and potatoes, etc. And yeah, for this one we're going to try this stovetop stuffing mix, okay? So we put this aside until it's time for us to go. So the bird here has been double washed. You know the drill. We have to go in with our vinegar bath, and we also have to go in with our citrus bath, whether it is lemon or lime. So that was done. Now, what's important is that the inside of the chicken is completely clean. Inside the cavity of the chicken, look at that. It look like somebody mouthy, just big old mouth. But anyway, inside here is cleaned, and it is washed, and it is ready. It was put to drain, so it's now dry, and we're going to go ahead now with the seasoning process. All right, guys, so I'm going to be adding some ginger powder, ground ginger. Everything we're eyeballing, right? I'm also going in with some black pepper. About equal portion, that's the idea. I am I have two black peppers here. I'm going to be using some Emerald's chicken rub. I like this. I tend to love Emerald seasonings. Yes, really good. So I'm going to be adding some of this to it, to the mix. It's a little bit crumbly. Is that a word? Crumbly, crumpled. Whatever is the right word, okay? Now, one way in which we can ensure that our seasoning doesn't clump together is by adding some rice grains to it. But to be honest with you, since I've gotten this particular blend, this is my first time using it, okay? So I'll just leave it like that. This is the least of the problem, because at the end of the day, I can either use a mortar and pound it out, or, you know, anything that has a flat edge and pound it out, or just use my hand and do it. Besides, it's going to be going into the bird, and so ultimately when the heat hits it, it will just do its thing and, you know, come out nicely. All right, so that's just me doing that roughly. I'm also going to be adding a little bit of Cajun seasoning. Yeah, just about that. And I am going to be adding some chili powder, cayenne, and paprika. Nothing too extra. I kid you not. Nothing extra to the mix, okay? Paprika. Some persons say paprika. Paprika. And I'm going to be adding some cayenne, I said. Cayenne pepper. There goes the big bad cayenne pepper. Just enough. Yeah, man, that look good. Cayenne pepper. And I think I will add a little bit of Italian seasoning, And I'm using the Badia Italian seasoning, the Mediterranean blend. Just a little bit, nothing too extra. You know, Mediterranean blend is actually good for roasting. I don't know, I quite like it. I added ginger. What I did not add was some garlic. So I'm gonna add some garlic powder to the mix as well. And that will be all right, guys. That. So I have my seasoning here. I've mixed them together, and I also have a little bit of seasoning rough chop. This is just some scotch bonnet pepper, thyme. Notice I said thyme and not thyme. And some garlic. I garlic this? Yes, garlic. Oh yes, and I'm gonna be adding just a little bit of ginger when it's time for the cooking, all right? Because I do have ginger in the herbs that I combine. So I have some butter now, and notice what I'm going to be doing. I'm giving the chicken a nice buttery rub. Yes, putting it on the outside, getting down into the crevice and the corner of the chicken. You want to treat this like a young baby. You know, when the baby fat and the baby has a leg here, you have to get into the crease when you're cleaning them. It's the same thing. So you want to caress this meat as though it were someone. I wonder if that is the right thing to tell you. Well, yeah, that is the right thing to tell you. Now, even in terms of the seasoning that you're using, you want to go very light with the salt. Why? This is not unsalted butter. It's actually salted butter. Persons will tell you too that when it comes to roast chicken, they actually like their roast chicken a little bit salty. So if that is what their palate requires, then by all means, you can go in real generously. But for me, I'm still keeping it a bit light because, as I said, I want to watch the sodium intake, right? And so this is what I'm doing. So this is one side of the bird that has been moisturized. That's the word I'm going to use. It's been moisturized. No, so this is now covered in butter. So this is buttery goodness going on right here. So get into every single section that you can find as best as possible. Till you can always just push your hand on the inside and work the inside with a little bit of the butter. You want to turn it over, and you want to do the same thing on the other side. All right, lots of butter. At least that's how I roast my chicken. I don't know about others, but I know that that is how I like it, buttery. All right, this side could probably take some more butter, just a touch more. You can get in under the skin as well. Notice where I have my fingers. You just want to get it under the skin a little bit and caress it. Okay, just here and caress it. This is going to make your meat really tender and succulent. Okay, so get in all the way down here. Try not to tear the flesh off the meat though. All right, so now that that is done, guess what we're going to be doing? I am going to be putting just a little piece of scallion, maybe 1 or 2 stalks on the inside. Now remember that I said I'm using the stovetop mix, right? So the truth be told is that I don't want a lot of seasoning like what I would use if I weren't using the mix in it. So I'm putting it to stand, and I'm just going in with these. All right, all the natural seasoning that I had here, I'm just going in with it. In addition to that, I will just sprinkle, especially on this backbone here that's closer to the rib, where those bones are, the breast section here too. I just want to sprinkle. Did I say sprinkle? I just want to sprinkle some of this seasoning right there. Okay, all right, that looks good. When the juices start to flow in there, this is going to lead to great excitement. So let's get back on the outside now. So this is what we want to do. Butter is there. Add your combined seasoning to the outside. We're taking this to Flavor Town, ladies and gentlemen. Taking it to Flavor Town. I don't know about you, but I know about me. Once I am cooking, I gotta enjoy myself. So we're going into, again, underneath the skin as best as possible with the seasoning. When the juices start to flow, everything is going to combine. Ooh, and it's going to be real juicy, real good. Even in the crevices and the corners as well. Ensure that that is done. Now please note that I'm going to be putting back this bird in the refrigerator overnight just to allow this seasoning to soak in the meat, you know, for it to marinate or marinate, whichever one is the right one. I think one's a verb, marinade is a, I think marinade is a verb and marinate is a noun, but I think I had seen at some point in time that they can be used interchangeably because pretty much it's doing the same thing. All right, this is not an English class. Turn over the bird. I need another spoon just to get a little bit more butter going in here because this side was lacking it. Yeah man, enough butter. So this is Sunday dinner. I'm having persons over and I just needed to find, you know, quick and easy dishes to prepare for today. Still tasty, still yummy. Give it a vibe, give it a mood, give it a buzz. So going in again with the seasoning on this butter. The butter is good because what it's going to do is to help the skin here to darken and also to crisp up. I mean, if you're roasting chicken, you can choose to add a sauce, base it with a sauce close to the end of the cooking process, or you can just leave it as it is here. The bird will still be delicious even if you never added anything to it, right? Because the chicken flavor, the chicken juice is what you really want to come out. Yeah, so we're just getting in here. Okay, so the bird has been fully seasoned and I'm just gonna be putting it here. I've tried to tuck the wings under on that side and I'm trying to get the legs to remain between the flap. That's just for tonight. Why is this important? Remember that for tomorrow, when I am going to be preparing the stovetop, because it's a next day process, I'm going to be doing the stovetop mix. So I'm not going to tie this off just yet because I'll have to stuff the stuffing in there immediately after it is cooked and when I am ready to bake. So this is now going to be going into the refrigerator. So that's the bird. Ready, set, bird. All right guys, so our chicken is now ready and we are going to be making the stuffing mix here, and it's going to be ready literally in 5 minutes. Okay, now you could just take a look at the nutrition facts. You're talking about 390 milligrams of sodium. I'm a little bit concerned. Why? Because we're going to be using butter to prepare this mix, as well as the option that I used for roasting my chicken was to use butter, right? That's a lot of butter. But guess what? One day, you know, maybe we're going to pair that with a lot of vegetable and so that might counteract any bad damages that might happen. That's some BS that I'm talking, actually. We don't know. But the truth is, it's one day you're not going to eat the entire bird, just a piece. So it might work out perfectly fine. But this alone is going to be 110 calories. Okay, no problem. So let's jump right into it. So I have a saucepan here on the stove, and I do have 1.5 cups of water that I'm just going to be adding here to the pan, and I'm also going to be adding some butter, and the idea is that I will allow this to come to a boil. All right, so let me just add in the butter, or you could use margarine, whichever is your preference. I'm going to go kind of light on it. This is about 2 tablespoons. I won't use the full requirement from the thing. I'll just go in with maybe 3. That should do it. So if you look in the water here, you can see that the butter has started melting because of the heat. That's the idea. We're going to bring this to a boil. I really don't have to stir this. I'm just opting to. Maybe I'm extra. But anyway, we're going to bring this to a boil. And once that happens, it's time to throw the mixture in this water and allow it to do its thing. So let's wait for that roaring boil. This is our stuffing mix. Jeez, I kid you not. When I smell this, I can tell that it's a bit salty. But anyway, I just hope it will, you know, just turn out the right way for me. That's it. This is the old school way of stuffing chicken. At least when I was a child, my mother used to roast the chicken this way. So this is why I'm opting to do it this time in this fashion. Okay, so it's a Sunday dinner going on with a lot of excitement in my home today. Having a few persons over, excited for that. So I'm just gonna stir this in, and then I'm going to remove it from the heat and allow it to remain there for 5 minutes, right? So let me just stir this around. It's quick and easy. This is it. Now I'm just gonna turn the heat off. I'm going to let this sit here for 5 minutes. It will absorb the rest of the moisture. And then immediately I'm going to be putting this in the chicken. Our bird would have been taken from the fridge for at least 15 to 20 minutes back to room temperature. And it's now time for the stuffing process. So I'm taking the stovetop mixture that I have and I'm filling the cavity of the bird. Oops, please note, I have removed, you remember that scallion, the stalk of scallion that I had put in there? I have removed that. I mean, granted, if it's a case in which that scallion was cut into very small pieces, then it would have been okay. So the cavity of the bird here is being stuffed, as you can see. I'm pushing it all the way down because I want to be able to use all the stuffing. If not, I will have to discard the balance because this is not something that you're going to put down and reheat. Okay. One of the things that you want to ensure that you're doing when you're going to be roasting a chicken is to keep the cavity closed, right? So if it is that you have no cooking twine, I'm actually out of twine, didn't even recognize, so I just improvise and I use some aluminum foil. That is good too because it will ensure that this section here of the bird is not burnt, okay? Because you know this is going to be exposed. All right, people, so I ensured that the skin here on the meat is all the way up to the very top. If you notice, the wings are fully tucked under. That's very important because if not, when the heat hits the pot, the roasting pan, please note that what's going to happen is that this this bird, it's just gonna, the wing part is just gonna flap all the way open as though it is hoping to fly, and that's gonna be problematic. That's gonna make the bird not be attractive at the end. So the important thing is for it to sit down there on that wing and ensure that the flaps are under. Let me hope this one is really under, you know, and don't bother come pull no stunt and no craft on me today. Now I decided to add the little bit of mixture that was left to one side of the pan, but then when you look at this, look at that, guys, the pan kind of look bare, right? So what am I going to do? I'm just gonna go in on the other side with some carrots that I have rough chopped just in semi-diagonals because these are not really diagonals. I don't know what this is, but anyway, the point is I am adding these carrots to this side. You know what's good about it? It's going to add flavor to the meat as well. Yeah, roasted carrots, when you add roasted vegetables to anything, it really makes it a whole lot better. So I'm just adding these 2 whole carrots that I have rough chopped, and I am adding it to the pan. Don't need to worry about it. The juices from the chicken, all the flavor, everything is going to be coming down into the bottom of the pan. And yes, people, so my oven is on. It is at 375 degrees Fahrenheit, and I am going to be popping the lid on this roasting pan now, and I'm going to be putting it in the oven probably for about 45 minutes the most. This is a small bird. Then we're gonna check it, okay? Then I'll decide if I'm going to allow the bird to remain as is in terms of the skin, or if I want to actually glaze the outside of it for additional flavor. By the time the bird is almost done, I will make up my mind. So guys, let's stay tuned for all this goodness. Bird would have been cooking for about 45 minutes. Look, you could tell this is cooked, right? This is actual white meat. Look at that. This little section here has browned up, but a good way to test this is just to prick it with like a fork or a knife, anything, you know, you could use that. If it springs water when you touch the skin, if you see water springing from it, then you know it has to go back in the oven for a little while longer. Now when it comes to roast chicken, you don't want to overcook the bird. So as long as you've tested it and it seems good to go, you may want to go ahead now and decide if you're going to be dressing this, yes or no. No, please note, my chicken legs were a little bit stubborn, and so they came out of this little holster that I had made for them. Notwithstanding, I'll remove it. If you look there, guys, look at that. That's the stuffing oozing out at the back side of the chicken. And to this side, you will notice that my carrots are bright orange, which is an indication that they're cooked. And if you look at the stuffing mixture that was there, notice that the color has become a little bit darker, and so it is perfectly roasted. All right, so the thing about it is this: I don't like to see meat that is colorless and white. For me, the darker the meat, the better. So I am going to pop this back in the oven maybe for 5 minutes, put my oven on turbo so it can cook full through, right, from top to bottom. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to see about a glaze. I'm going to be making like a teriyaki sauce just on top. Here's my sauce, teriyaki sauce. You know how to do this. You just add a little bit of vinegar, a little bit of soy sauce, and some seasoning, and you can add some sugar to it, or some honey or agave nectar, whichever it is that you have, and you just basically reduce this. You can put a little bit of tomato sauce in it as well, and if you don't have that, you can use ketchup. So it's bubbling, it has reduced. I should have shown you from when I was adding all the ingredients, but bottom line is that this is the sauce when it has reduced, and I am now going to go ahead and apply this to the chicken. Key thing to note, never add cold sauce to meat. It just doesn't work. I don't know, it just does something. You want to make sure that the sauce is heated all the way through, and then you're going to be adding that. So let's go. All right, here we go. You can hear that sizzle, right, as I added this. So this is going to give our chicken a nice golden brown color when it's all done. This is how I prefer it. Prefer my meat to be dark.
All aboard, cause the road I go start crash. Strap me in safely, the engine start up. Good food, me a pre can't get enough. It's vibing with Via. So grab your phone, grab your tablet. I this you can't miss. It's vibing with Via. And once you start this you can't quit. You are gonna love this. It's vibing with Via, vibing with Via. Yeah, we vibing with, yeah, we vibing with Via. Oh,
right, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it, the final product. This is my oven roasted chicken, stuffed with goodness. Look at that. Look at these carrots, bright orange carrots, roasted to perfection. And of course, a little bit of the stuffing that has oozed out of the backside of the chicken. Bon appetit. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And if you love this recipe, please feel free to share it with a friend or family member. See you in the next video.